In this chapter, we get introduced to another one of the teams that we presume is going to take the Chunin Exam, as well as another mysterious team.
Naruto, number 35, okay. Iruka versus Kakashi, okay.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and awe-inspiring and ninja-filled tale of Naruto. Our last chapter saw us with, like I said, really just kind of a bridge chapter to get things going and kind of check in and see what's been going on with everyone since, of course, the completion of the Land of the Waves arc. And really it wound up ending up with us just kind of seeing this masked figure, these two mysterious figures. One of them wound up grabbing Konahamaru and has got him in his grasp and is basically going to go and nail him for running into him or whatever the deal was. So, and then of course we found out too that in 1 week from today, today obviously in the manga, that the Chunin Exams are going to commence. So obviously all these junior level, these genin ninja will be able to participate in these exams and hopefully pass and raise up and become Chunin. And that's how things left off. So that's right where we pick up over here, and really this is a chapter. It's kind of nice because it gets right into it, and it's a tale of two things happening. The first one is, of course, what's going on with with Konahamaru and Naruto and everything else. But the other half is actually it's the Hokage, and he has brought up a few of the actual cell leaders, Kakashi and Asuma, I think is the other one, and the other one I think is Kurenai, I think her name is. I believe her name's Kurenai. Nonetheless, so they're the cell leaders for cells 7, 8, and 9. And Kakashi goes up first, and they're going to go, and obviously each one of them have three junior level genin under their command, and they're going to go and pledge whoever they think has the skills to pay the bills. Whoever has the skills to actually take the exam, the Chunin Exam. So Kakashi goes first, and he comes up and he does his whole speech, and he pledges all three that Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto are ready. And then when Asuma comes up, or actually I think Kurenai is next, but they come up, they both as well pledge all three of theirs. So everybody is confident in their students that they actually have the skills to take this exam, And so Iruka, though, that doesn't sit well with him. And Iruka goes and says, hold on a second, wait, let me step in over here. Let me say something. And he talks about how they're all very young, and I know you have confidence in them, but you don't understand. There's this and that. And the requirements, the minimum requirements are that they have to have completed like 8 missions. And, basically it's again, I really compare it to when I was in the martial arts to actually testing to promote to the next level, the next belt. Now, obviously, this is different because they actually have jobs, they go out and they do things and everything else, but it's very similar in the sense that you have to have a certain amount of prerequisites done before you can actually go in and take the exam. And nonetheless, though, Iruka is not happy. So he, about what's going on, and he's trying to gently, more or less, say, hey, listen, Kakashi and whatnot, you guys are wrong. They're not all ready for it and this and that. And Kakashi goes and he's like, listen, I understand your hesitancy and this and that, but I believe they're ready. And furthermore, it's really none of your business. They're under my command now, and they're my soldiers, So I don't mean no disrespect, but mind your business, that type of thing. And Iruka does not have a happy look on his face after this. So I don't know. The chapter was actually called Kakashi versus Iruka. So I don't know if they're going to go, they're going to tangle at some point, or if it's just a verbal, the verbal exchange. But anyway, the other half of the chapter, and it kind of goes back and forth, but really the other half of the chapter is kind of cool because we're introduced to these other characters. And we wind up finding out, the one with the mask, we find out his name is Kankuro, I believe. Yeah, Kankuro. And what winds up happening is he's about to just go and nail Konahamaru, right? And Naruto, of course, has told him to put him down and is going, moving towards him. And as his fist is just about to go and nail him, he gets pinked with a rock and winds up dropping Konahamaru, right? So then we go and we look up in a tree, and up in a tree about 10, 20 feet away is Sasuke sitting up there tossing rocks up in the air, So obviously he wound up timing it, nailing him at the perfect time. And Sasuke's just like, who are you? What the hell do you want, right? And this guy, this Kankuro, he's about to throw down. He's got to get angry, and he's got to get this, he's got to get that. And what I like about it is as things escalate between him and Sasuke, right? All of a sudden, the leader of their little group, or we presume is the leader of their group, this dude, really kind of spooky looking, man. The way he's got, they actually refer to him as a spook, but he looks like he's maybe like albino, like a very white skin or something like that, and these dark like ringlet type eyes, man, just really kind of spooky looking. But he appears. His name is Gaara, and Gaara is, he tells, like I said, I presume he's the leader because he goes and calls off the dogs. He tells Konkuro, he says, stop doing this shit now, And he tries to explain, he says, but you don't understand there, because Konkuro was about to go and he pulled this thing off of his back, and the girl went and said, you're not going to use the crow, are you? And it looked like it was maybe some kind of weapon, like some kind of ball and chain type weapon, a mace or something like that, maybe like wrapped, for when they traveled. And he was pulling that out because I think he was going to go at Sasuke for throwing the rock at him, right? Nonetheless, though, bullies are going to be bullies, and this little prick just tried to go and pick a fight because a younger kid went and ran into him, And nonetheless, so this Gaara goes and he's just like, I apologize for them and this and that, and he's like, and he tells Kankuro, he's like, he puts him in place, he says, you're not going to do anything, and blah, blah, and he says, and if you don't go and let it go right now, I'll kill you. And I kind of liked how that whole thing was, so you can tell who's wearing the pants in that group, right? Who's the boss and who they're scared of, and he's like, sorry, and he apologizes and everything else, so then Sasuke goes and jumps down, and I kind of like this too, right? Because everybody's going to wind up, I know, probably pairing off as far as different types of fights or different types of adversarial type things. And Sasuke, right, who we all know has a lot of hidden potential and everything like that now that we know about the Uchiha clan, and of course the Sharingan and everything else. But he jumps down and he's just like, who are you, And the girl's like, what, me? And he goes, no, the spook beside you. And then he goes, I am Gaara of the Sand, Kingdom, what have you. And we wind up finding out that they're there, obviously, for the Chunin Exams. They wind up explaining themselves. It's kind of, briefly, but nonetheless, we know that's why they're there. And what it is it's kind of like, I guess you would take it to like, countries that are together, like the United Nations, for instance. These different nations that are basically on peaceful terms with each other, they go and they have these Chunin Exams. They put everybody together from these different lands, and it's basically just to keep the same type of high level going all across. Obviously just for the intermingling amongst them, but just to kind of see what everybody else is doing, to make sure that they can obviously all have these elite fighting forces, and that, again, that they're all on the same level playing field. So it was very cool how it was done. But anyway, so nonetheless, though, we wind up seeing this kind of look, and there's just this panel drawn with Gaara on one side and Sasuke on the other side as he introduces himself. And I'm just thinking, oh boy, I can see this one right now, man. Next 20, 30, 40 chapters, these two are going to freaking clash, It might even be before then, I don't know. But nonetheless, so like I said, Gaara was still very polite about things, even when he was called a spook and everything else. And then they're like, okay, we're going to get out of here. The last page, though, was kind of cool because it was like this little cliffhanger. You wind up seeing this other group of three, right? And they all look kind of like mummies almost. They're like all wrapped up with wraps and stuff like that, mostly covered and everything else. And one of them's like, what do you think about them or something like that? And he says, the only one we got to watch out for is the raven-haired one from Konoha. From the Leaf Village, obviously, which is Sasuke, and the spook, from the Sand Kingdom or what have you. So, very cool to go and see some of these different characters get introduced. These ones weren't formally introduced, but, I'm sure that we'll find out as we get into the exam. So, I'm certainly excited. But anyway, my chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is I guess really what are your thoughts on the initial character designs that we've seen of these, of course, these other two, we're presuming these other two cells that are there, of course, to test for the Chunin Exams. I personally think they're very cool looking. They're very unique. They have a nice look and style to them. But I want to know what your thoughts are, brothers and sisters. Leave the answer in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button, if you should think that I deserve it. Sorry, jumping the gun over there. So sometimes my hand motions get ahead of like what I'm actually spewing out over there, and my mind's just all over the place. So subscribe, though, if you haven't done so already. And we will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, nation.
If you want to see more pictures like this, okay, go on over and check out my other channel and my Facebook and my Twitter, okay?